Developed by Rockstar North and published by Rockstar Games, GTA San Andreas is one of the classics among the Grand Theft Auto franchise. From a heartfelt and relatable storyline to iconic memes being birthed from it. San Andreas is the 5th game in the series following GTA Vice City, and it's the 7th overall game in the franchise. It was initially released on the 26th of October 2004 on the PS2, PS3 and Android, but was later remastered for PC, Xbox Series X and S and PS5 in 2021. It is also the only GTA game in the series with the longest storyline. Before we continue, be warned that there will be spoilers ahead, so proceed at your own risk. Without further ado, let's get into the gut-wrenching lore of San Andreas. The year is 1992. CJ, or Carl Johnson, has landed into Los Santos, San Andreas from Liberty City to see his family after learning that his mother has passed away from a drive-by shooting gone wrong. On his way home in a taxi, 2 corrupt cops by the name of Frank Tenpenny and Eddie Pulaski pull over CJ's taxi and arrest him. Another cop was murdered prior to CJ landing in for threatening to expose the corruption of the C.R.A.S.H unit, and were gonna pin it on CJ. They throw CJ into Baller's territory, and then the iconic meme plays.
Oh shit, here we go again.
CJ gets to the Johnson house in Grove Street and starts reminiscing on memories with his mum while looking at a picture of her before being startled by none other than the man himself, Big Smoke. While he was ready to bash CJ's head in with the bat, he stopped once he realized who it was, then decided to spit a motivational quote to CJ.
Like it says in the book, we are blessed and cursed.
What fucking book?
Before taking him to see his brother Sweet and sister Kendall at the burial site. Once CJ meets them, a big argument breaks out. When they leave the burial site, the Ballas gang come through and attempt a drive-by on the group as they get away on BMX bikes, and CJ gets shown around the city before heading back home. CJ receives a call from Sweet saying that certain street families are beefing and don't rock with Grove Street no more, and that the Ballas and Bargos have taken over and to watch out. CJ visits Ryder and tells him about a pizza chain that keeps painting over the Grove Street spray tag and wants to teach the owner a lesson. So they head inside the pizza chain where CJ goes to order until Ryder comes in attempting to do an armed robbery on the place. When the cashier recognizes Ryder, it retaliates by pulling out his own gun and chasing the boys out of the shop and driving away. CJ visits Sweet and gets him to start tagging up turfs with their spray tag, but to start on their turf to send the message that the Johnson boys are back. Once CJ tags up some turf, Sweet then asks CJ how he's doing on money, or Fetty as they call it, and CJ says since C.R.A.S.H took his money, he's a bit shortchanged, and of course Sweet gives him some money like a W brother. CJ goes back to his brother and witnesses him and Big Smoke talking with Ryder in the back. Sweet goes on about how crack is ruining the hood and doesn't like that the Ballas are trying to deal to GSF and making money from it, and tells CJ to go put pressure on the Ballas to stop it. Ryder goes with him and they talk about getting some old friends for some help. But if you've been around drugs, you might have an idea for what's about to come next. If not, take a look.
Still live here? Fool, I told you this is. Open up! Who the fuck is it? CJ, the fuck you want? Get the fuck out of here.
Wait, hold up, man. What happened to for life, nigga?
The only thing that matters is the hood, homie. But you'll never understand what getting this money is like. You know what, man? Get the fuck out of here for you be laying on your back. Big Bear, come check this fool.
Hey, Bear? Big Bear, that's you? Hey, you still from the hood, homie, or what?
The only thing Bear give a fuck about is smoking and keeping my house clean. Ain't that right, Big Bear?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, what?
Hell yeah, sir.
Now go make that motherfucking toilet spark.
Oh, no, man.
Man. Bear, come on.
Everyone likes to party sometimes, CJ. I'll see you around.
Stay the fuck from around here, punk.
Hey, nigga, fuck you.
So with the old friends being out of the question, CJ and Ryder end up scouting for dealers to take care of. When they find one, Ryder ends up recognizing one of them and links them back to a crack den not far from them, so they head to the place to get to business. CJ meets up with Sweet, Big Smoke, and Ryder when this is said.
What you riding?
Respect has to be earned, Sweet, just like money.
So what you saying? You don't respect me?
What I'm saying is,
Speak up, nigga.
I'm hungry.
The three of them talk about getting food, and once they head there, Big Smoke orders for them, and this is where another famous meme comes from.
Number 9, fat boy.
Give me a number 9, just like his. Let me get a number 6 with extra dip.
I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip,
a number 7, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda.
The gang chill at the fast food joint while eating until the ballers pull up and attempt to drive by. The gang take out the baller's car that pulled up before it gets to the hood and takes out the other members of Grove Street. Sweet isn't happy about Big Smoke's non-involvement in taking out the baller's gang car and says this.
Chubby motherfucker, next time you better start blast or I'm gonna blast you myself.
Sweet asks if anyone wants to come inside for a drink, but Big Smoke declines the offer and gets CJ to drive him home. CJ asks him why he moved out of the Grove, and Big Smoke says he got money from a relative and got himself a house, but still has heart for the hood. CJ visits Sweet and walks into the boys playing a board game in the living room when CJ asks about guns, and Ryders says the guns got raided by cops, so they have nothing until CJ asks about an old friend who sells guns by the name of Emmett. But with the guns Emmett sells compared to what gangsters are running now, he doesn't really have anything, but since they don't have a plug, he's all they've got for now. Big Smoke mentions the family Emmett's with isn't too close to them nowadays, but still goes and sees him. They get to Emmett and he startles himself by mishandling the gun he's looking at and fires a shot, and gets spooked by CJ and Big Smoke. He confuses Carl with someone else in the family who's passed and offers his condolences. They explain their reasoning behind being there and they get the straps and test them out. CJ goes to Sweet's house but there's no one there, so he heads outside when he receives a call from Sweet saying he's been seeing a girl in enemy territory and the enemies got word and didn't like that, so he's pinned down and needs a ride out of there. So of course CJ comes to the rescue and gets him out of there. Not easily though. At this point in the story, we're introduced to another character, a gang member outside of Grove Street, Cesar Villalpando, who was Kendall's boyfriend. Sweet doesn't approve and is trying to be protective, but of course Kendall, being an adult, doesn't care what he has to say and goes to see him anyway. Sweet tells CJ to go with her to a car meet he's at, and after a very easy challenge, CJ is face to face with Cesar. It almost ends in a brawl, but after a one-on-one chat, CJ and Cesar make amends and end up forming an alliance. Shortly after, we're introduced to another character in the story, except this time it's someone inside Grove Street. He goes by the name Jeffrey, and CJ, Sweet and Big Smoke head to the police station to pick him up from being freshly released from prison. Since being in prison, he decided to pick up music and doesn't go by Jeffrey anymore. He goes by OG Loke. They haven't even left the police station and he already mentions that he wants to put a hit on someone for dissing him and stealing his rhymes. They ask him his plan since he's released and he says his parole officer linked him up with a job as a hygiene technician at a fast food restaurant. They arrive at Freddy's place and it turns out OG Loke had a bit of fun in prison, or maybe he really did steal his rhymes. We'll never really know. But anyway, Freddy gets taken care of and CJ and OG Loke share a moment. CJ drops off OG Loke back to his job. The police are at Big Smoke's house, but when are they never? CJ takes Big Smoke to pick up his cousin Mary, and technically we do before this happens.
Talk. Man, I should have known.
Hey, excuse me, Jose. Yo soy el grande smokio, and I want that grass, comprende?
Hey, fuck you, cabron. What?
Now that ain't nice. Coffee-o up El Guido before I blow your brains out all over the patio.
Chinga tu madre, pendejo.
Man, let me get the heat
Fuck
on
this, man.
Fuck this. Get him, Smoke.
Yeah, you can get that shit now. Get what you talking about. Yeah, motherfucker, Big Smoke. Remember that name.
The other gang member runs off, and after a brief cat and mouse chase session, CJ ends up gunning him down. It wouldn't be a Big Smoke visit without some dirty cops at his house at this point, would it? Tenpenny and Pulaski intimidate CJ before Pulaski flicks a cigarette onto CJ to show dominance, I suppose. Big Smoke wants to take a little ride and check out a potential business opportunity. When they arrive at the spot, it seems the guys knew they were going to be there and spotted them and ran off on top of the train, which prompted another chase scene involving a dirt bike and Big Smoke's questionable gunslinger skills. After a long chase sequence and almost getting the same cutscene again, Big Smoke finally killed the last guy and that was the ops taken care of. While CJ takes Big Smoke back to his crib, he questions him, but Big Smoke is suspiciously hesitant so they don't speak on it further. Big Smoke tells CJ to dip so C.R.A.S.H doesn't pull him into some shit he shouldn't be in. CJ arrives at Big Smoke's house to no sign of him, but then he pops his head up from the car in the garage. He then asks CJ if he wants to go for a drive. On the way to the destination, Big Smoke warns that some heavy shit could go down. Big Smoke asks CJ if he's got his back if shit goes down, and CJ says of course he does. So Smoke goes inside the building, and as CJ is chatting up a female, Big Smoke yells out and shots start firing. After an intense shootout, Big Smoke drives us on the motorbike and CJ defends him and the bike by shooting out a truck, chasing them before the bikes do, and then cars. After a long chase sequence, they finally lose the enemies and split up. CJ arrives at Ryders' house to him digging up his backyard to find a certain something, while he talks about knowing someone with a better range of guns than the contact they have now, but to wait till night to strike. Nighttime rolls around, so they drive the box cart to the place and sneakily steal the crates of guns and drive the van to the storage lockup. Arriving back at Ryders' house, CJ notices him cooking something. Ryders said he couldn't find his water from earlier, so he made some more. Officers Tenpenny and Pulaski pull up to Ryders' crib and harass them while getting some of what Ryders cooking, while telling them about a train making an unscheduled stop close by that's got something for the boys. When the boys roll up, it seems another gang got there first, so after taking them out and getting on the train and launching crates at Ryder to put in the back of the pickup, they escape the cops and make it back home. CJ pulls up to Ryder's house again and sees him chilling in the backyard blazing up. Ryder asks him a question which leads to Ryder gassing himself up academically. He decides to go big or go home and wants to rob the army of their guns since they have all the guns they could need. So they pull up to the army base, get inside, not easy of course, and get inside a storage locker before CJ hops on the forklift and loads the boxes into the van and drives off to another storage unit while being chased by military vehicles, which of course get taken care of. CJ pulls up to OG Loke's work and OG Loke tells him he's putting together a listening party for his album but needs a sound system and scouts at a potential van with one that came to his work that he thinks is at the beach. CJ pulls up to the beach and finds the van. Before CJ can access it, he has to dance for the DJ. Once CJ shows off his moves, the DJ offers him to come inside the van. Once he's in, he drives off before the DJ gets in and drops it off at a parking bay. Pulling up to OG Loke's work again, OG Loke has CJ pull up to a famous rapper by the name of Mad Dog's crib and steal his rhyme book. So once he pulled up to the crib and took out a few guards to get to the book and took out a few more guards to get out safely, he successfully obtained the book for OG Loke and gave it to him. CJ pulls up to OG Loke's work to find out he got a promotion, and upon talking to him it turns out Mad Dog's manager is basically doing everything he can to make sure he can't get a deal in the music industry and basically blackballing him. So we get CJ to take him out, but it's no easy task. The only way to get to him without him being by Mad Dog's side is with him at an award ceremony. And in order to get access to the ceremony we need a car. CJ gets info that one of Mad Dog's drivers is nearby and to take the car. Once CJ arrives at the location, he blends in with the other drivers and gets escorted to the award show. Once the manager gets in the car, this happens.
Hey man, take me back to Dog's Mansion. Not today, asshole. Today, we taking the scenic route via the bottom of the ocean.
Security team, the principal is being kidnapped. Rescue him at all costs.
Who the fuck are you? Where's my usual driver? Unlock this fucking door. I can't fucking swim, you fucking psycho.
Ah, so I've heard.
What you want? Money?
Shut up!
CJ received a call from Tenpenny telling him to meet at a donut shop. Classic. Anyway, he can wait. CJ pulls up to OG Loke's work once again, but he's basically quitting his job and has one more chance to be heard before he goes back to his cell. So he officially holds a listening party for his album and tells CJ to get ready. OG Loke calls CJ while he's getting ready and says he won't be rapping as the mic's broken. But that still didn't stop old mate. Hanging out with the boys outside, a Grove Street member pulls up and says the ballers are about to pull up and attempt to spin the block. So an all-out gang war takes place on Grove Street turf. CJ pulls up to the donut shop to meet officers Tenpenny and Pulaski. They spit out their usual god complex shit. Anyway, the main point of this meetup is they want CJ to go take care of a fellow gangbanger that they don't like and make sure he doesn't leave. So CJ gets some Molotovs and torches the house, but there's a survivor inside, so he runs inside, gets the fire extinguisher, makes it to the victim, and gets her out safely. CJ receives a call from Sweet telling him that there's been some sabotage among one of their own involving drugs, and the way they're going to deal with it is take over the area where they're hanging out with the rivals and flush him out. But Sweet tells him it's his job to show he's for the hood and not the usual have backup. But before CJ takes care of that, he goes back to C.R.A.S.H and Tenpenny tells him he's in a difficult moral position and that he likes having the gang members doing his job for him and likes them going to war, and tells CJ about a freeway house with guns coming in from rival gangs making deals to negate the unfair advantage the rival gangs have. So CJ pulls up, causes a bloodbath, and deals with the main guy running things. CJ heads to Ammunition and prepares to take over the gang territory on Glen Park, and then proceeds to take it over.
Oh yeah, what's that, fool?
CJ meets up with Sweet and says the guy CJ just took care of is being buried and everyone's going to be there and wants retaliation for the drive-by that happened where they buried their mum. So CJ recruits some members to help out, and we pull up to the burial site and let the bullets rip. Once the main guy is taken care of and CJ drops Sweet home, he says to lay low and pretend nothing happened. CJ arrives at Sweet's house and he says he wants to reunite the families and stop the drugs on the streets. So he proposes to bring the family sets together at a location and bring a stop to the drugs on the streets. They pull up to the location but quickly get surrounded and raided by police. Big Smoke and Ryder dip, but CJ stays and shoots his way through the police to get the Sweets. They both get to the rooftop and take down a helicopter circling them. They then make their way off the rooftop and wait for Big Smoke and Ryder to pull up to pick them up and then begin a cop chase with CJ gunning them down. Then they drive through a billboard, but they end up bailing last second and turn out fine. Now it's the last mission for the city. Sweet rounds up Grove Street at his crib and basically starts a gang war to take over the city, but before all that goes down, C.R.A.S.H calls CJ and tells him to see him urgently as he wants to show him something. After a bit of hesitance, CJ finally accepts. What Caesar shows him is just the beginning of the end.
Take a good hard look over there.
So, some ballers hanging around a dope spot. So what?
Just watch, homie.
What the fuck? Oh, no. Shit, Smoke, what you into?
Shh, that's it. Look at that ride.
That's the motherfucking green Saber. Shit, Smoke? C.R.A.S.H making you sell us out? Moms!
With that plot twist happening, CJ tries to get a hold of Sweet to warn him about a setup, but no answer. When he gets to the area of conflict, he sees Sweet down and injured, so he fights back for him until the cops show up. Now this is where the story takes a turn with CJ now in the desert. Sweet is locked up and officers Tenpenny and Pulaski interrogate CJ, and they eventually get him to silence somebody who's planning to testify against C.R.A.S.H. So CJ makes his way there, finds the person and takes care of him, takes a pic for proof and gets away while being shot by the feds. C.R.A.S.H calls CJ and CJ tells him where he is and says he has protection coming out his way, his cousin, and that they're real intense. Let's find out who this mysterious cousin is.
Do you want some, fatso? You big streak of Yankee beast? I seen fucking units with more balls than you. What the fuck did you want?
Nothing. I'm looking for a friend of mine's cousin, Mexican guy. He ain't here.
You? But Cesar said you was a real man.
Crazy.
Lady, I'm a God-fearing, peace-loving man of the people.
Whatever, asshole. Let's go.
Damn,
Lord have mercy. Catalina tells CJ she wants to take every cent from the county they're in to make some money and go on a total of 4 heists. One of them being a gas station, but they end up taking the tanker instead. After that heist, CJ receives a call from a mysterious character by the name of The Truth and says to meet him. Once CJ pulls up, you'll never guess who's there blazing up on the job. Tenpenny introduces CJ to a new character by the name of The Truth, who's an elderly hippie who's very into cannabis and conspiracy theories. The Truth gives CJ his first job, to steal a combine harvester from a farm close to him that is disturbing his peace as payment. CJ receives a call from C.R.A.S.H that went a bit like this.
What's wrong? Where's Kendall? Is she okay?
She's with me. She's okay for now. The Varios Los Aztecas, it's all over. There's a price on my head. Maybe Kendall's too.
What happened?
Trust, respect, honor, they don't mean jack in Los Santos now. My OGs, my S's, all dead or in hiding, eh?
Get out of town. Head over to Angel Pine, rent you and Kendall a trailer, and I'll meet you there.
Okay. I just got some shit to take care of and
No, just get my sister out of town someplace safe. Don't shit with me on this one. I can't lose her, man.
Sure thing, Holmes. We'll see you in Angel Pine.
CJ arrives at his trailer to find his sister Kendall and Cesar there. They all go back and forth, and in the end it makes CJ realize Big Smoke isn't really who he says he is. CJ pulls up to Catalina's cabin and calls out to her to no response until this is said.
Damn, man. Shit. Now where's this stupid bitch?
Here, cabron. Who's the bitch now, eh?
Catalina ends up confessing her love for CJ, and I guess they're now dating with how the game's mechanics work. They end up robbing a betting shop by blowing up a door with a safe in it and taking everything from it and escaping the cops. They go for their third heist, which is a liquor store. However, another group of people get there first to rob the place, and Catalina gets angry and gets one of them while the others ride off. And we of course chase them down to get our money back and return to Catalina's cabin. Catalina has some sort of epiphany and ends up with CJ, and they remain business partners for the final heist. The bank, which means CJ has to smash up ATMs and then go through a whole thing with the cops to escape them. They make it back to Catalina's cabin, and that's her quest line done, thank God, but not the last time we see her, sadly. CJ receives a call from C.R.A.S.H to do with the street race nearby, and this is where we are introduced to a new character by the name of Woozy, Chinese mob boss who runs the Mountain Glad Boys triads. Woozy is in the racing business, and the prize is either cash or a pink slip. After the race, Woozy gives CJ a business opportunity. Our next interaction with Catalina shows a familiar face. Then after CJ wins the next race, this happens.
You had the unfair advantage.
Being a better driver ain't no unfair advantage.
You think you're clever, but it is you who is missing the point. Not only was he racing, but he was satisfying me. Fully. What are you gonna say about that?
The advantage of a stick shift, I guess. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, man, what is it? Cash or pink slip?
There you go. Goodbye, Mr. Johnson. I will not be missing you.
Hey, wait a minute, bitch! What is this shit?
They did to a garage in San Fierro. My lover needs his car so we can go to Liberty City.
Liberty City? Yeah, whatever. Have a good time.
I will.
Fine.
Okay.
Go. I ain't gonna miss you.
Goodbye.
CJ receives a call from the Truth saying that the weed is ready to pick up from the farm. CJ pulls up and collects the weed, but turns out the police got wind of the Truth's weed farm and interrupted the deal, which made Truth call CJ a rat and then burn the weeds with a flamethrower. After burning the weed, CJ ends up getting high from it, but before they can go further, CJ pulls out an RPG from the Truth's van, which he calls the mothership, and takes out a helicopter surrounding the farm and then has to drive the mothership from the farm to San Fierro, a city not far from where Tenpenny and Pulaski dumped CJ to check out the garage he won from the race. They arrive at the garage and it's not what it's made out to be. CJ starts crashing out at the state of said garage until his sister says to turn it into a garage, but before that can happen, he needs people. Luckily, the Truth knows some people, so we go pick up Jethro and Dwayne to be our mechanics. Next is an IT guy by the name of Zero. They get back to the garage and Kendall talks to CJ about property and business and basically hinting that he should turn the garage into a business. CJ receives a call from Zero and this is our first introduction to him. Basically, he has an RC shop, but his landlord is selling the place but doesn't want to leave, so CJ says he'll come by and check it out. CJ receives a call from Tenpenny checking in on him since being in a new city and asks if he got the drugs from the Truth, and then gets him to plant them inside a district attorney's car who's bent on the officer's asses being a nuisance. At first, CJ refuses until it's mentioned the person is a DA, and then CJ accepts. So CJ has to drive to the Van Hoff Hotel nearby and follow the valet into the underground car park, then get rid of him to steal the clothes and disguise himself while he waits for the DA's car. Then he takes the DA's car to his garage and plants the drugs he got from the Truth and drives back to the underground car park and calls the anonymous tip hotline after seeing something suspicious. Then the cops arrive and the DA is arrested. Kendall storms into the garage talking about being harassed by some construction workers by being called a hooker. C.R.A.S.H reacts angrily, but CJ says he'll handle it. So he heads to the construction site, steals a bulldozer, destroys some buildings before the foreman comes out, and CJ pushes the porta potty into a pre-dug hole and hops in the cement truck and buries him alive. CJ receives a call from C.R.A.S.H telling him he got a tip from his cousin about a baller's car heading to San Fierro to score some drugs, so CJ wants to find out what's happening. C.R.A.S.H is on the same page and is trailing them before CJ goes and meets up with him and heads to the last known location of them and discovers some very spicy stuff.
My trabajo pays me poquito.
What? You shermhead?
This business is bigger than any gang, ese.
Ryder, little bitch. This guy take himself real serious.
That's T-Bone Mendez.
What now? Is that it?
For fun around here.
Hey, who's the gringo?
I don't like the look of that guy. This more than a few thugs pushing product. It's a serious organization.
How many of these clowns are there?
Ah, I know a pimp when I see one. They being clever about this. It ain't no exchange of nothing incriminating.
CJ eventually meets with Zero and gives a little backstory on himself. Basically, he has an RC rival by the name of Berkeley. This rivalry started when Zero won a competition at a science fair and Berkeley didn't like that and has wanted revenge ever since. With that being said, Berkeley launched a full-scale attack on Zero and tries to attack his transmitters and destroy them, while CJ shoots the helicopters trying to destroy them. CJ enters Zero's shop to find him being wedged inside his wardrobe by his underwear, classic bully style, and says Berkeley came back to humiliate him. Then CJ says he needs to get even, and Zero replies saying that he has a prototype of a mini plane he could use as a weapon, and they decide to use Berkeley's mail order business as a target and take out the delivery vans across the city. CJ meets Zero inside his shop when he says him and Berkeley are having a final battle and the loser has to leave the city for good. So CJ had to assist Zero with making sure his RC got inside Berkeley's base without sabotage. Back at the garage, Woozy is there talking to Cesar and we end up finding out more about what we saw with Woozy's associate explaining them.
Syndicate. They're pretty big time, I think. Don't have any dealings with them. We don't touch blow. Now this guy runs things. I don't know his name. This guy is T-Bone Mendez. He's the muscle.
And who's that guy?
That's Jizzy B. He's the biggest pimp in town. He helps set up the deals. You know, concierge of sorts.
Hey, then he my way in. How I get to him?
Oh, Jizzy? Jizzy runs the Pleasure Domes Club in that old fortress under the Gant Bridge.
CJ heads to Jizzy's location and befriends him to work his way into the crime syndicate and offers his services. Jizzy has a bit of a problem going on. He runs a pimping service. If you don't know what that is, he gets money from girls that work for him to have sex with clients. So yeah, sex work pretty much, or prostitution, whatever you want to call it. So his problem is, the clients are either killing the girls or beating them and want CJ to go find out who it is. Jizzy gives CJ the location of where this is all going down and CJ takes care of them once he arrives. CJ receives a call from Woozy telling him to meet him at his betting shop in Chinatown to have a little talk, but before that, CJ heads back to Jizzy and we're introduced to a new character, T-Bone Mendez. Jizzy introduces us before him and T-Bone go back and forth before T-Bone receives a call and has to dip. Basically, the van that contains their shipment got ambushed and the shipment was stolen. So CJ chases down each thief and gets the packages back to Jizzy's club. CJ is introduced to another character by the name of Mike Torino, who's a government agent. But before we meet him, we have to rescue him from being kidnapped. Kind of. The van with the drug shipment got stolen again and Mike is in the van. Mike tries telling T-Bone where he is from the sounds he hears, but he ends up being at the airport close by with the police escort. Once we take care of the thieves, CJ is finally introduced to Mike and this happens.
These clowns, relax, Weddle.
You hear that? We gotta torch this van with the coke in it.
Hey, Charlie, Weddle, we ain't torching nada.
This is a setback, but doing 20 to life is a little more than that. Comprende, amigo?
Hey, he right, man. Let's do it and get the hell out of here. Hey, who the fuck asked you, payaso? This ain't a committee.
Exactly. I call the shots here. Now shut up and let's go.
Once the van is destroyed, they gotta lose the cops and then head back to Jizzy's club. CJ receives a call from Jizzy saying his friends need some help and to meet T-Bone at a gas station nearby that he'll be waiting for him. CJ pulls up and hops in the car and this happens.
Hey, you a pinchy hooter or what? What the hell? You think you can mess with me? I will blow your head off and rape and kill your family, you snake! You think you can fucking bullshit me and fuck me over? I know your fucking game, that's it. I don't know what you're talking about, man. My throat! Who you working for? Nobody! Turn around and look at me. Man, I'm just trying to make some money. Keep my mouth shut, I swear, man. I almost had you, man. I almost fucking had you.
Mike tells CJ the shipment needs to arrive at the factory. If he does what he can to make sure it arrives there, he'll make it worth his while. Let the chaos commence. Yeah, it was a long drive to the factory with how slow the van was. Once the van arrives at the factory and they dip from the spot, CJ pulls up to Woozy's spot and he's told by associates that he's blind and blessed with great fortune. Woozy introduces himself as the leader of the Mountain Cloud Boys. He prides himself on solving disputes or conflict with little to no violence and wants to show an example of that by pulling up to a spot that's home to a Vietnamese gang that failed to show at the last meeting. This is why they failed to show. Tenpenny and Pulaski show up to CJ's garage and task him with this.
Damn bleeding heart liberal poking his nose into affairs he won't even understand. The press on the
What the hell would you know about it, boy?
Whoa, easy there, Eddie. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Some young journalist out there is trying to get a name for himself.
He doesn't know how the streets work. That he's supposed to report what he's supposed to report.
Yeah, anyway, we need you to shut him up for us.
And that Stooley. Shut him up too.
What's new? CJ tails the reporter to the target and wastes them both. By this time, Woozy leaves CJ a message about the Loco Syndicate's next meeting with the Ballers and needs to get rid of Jizzy to get his phone to figure out the location. He struggles to find some stuff to make a silencer, but Cesar, being shocked by CJ's ghetto mentality, helps him out and gives him his silenced pistol. CJ pulls up to his club, but he doesn't want to be disturbed, so he finds another way in and makes his way to him, and this happens.
Give me some room, bitch! It's that time of the week again. Your provider is about to make that special call. If I think for a moment that one of you hoes is hustling me...
You better make a bigger cut this week, Jizz. We're running low, honey.
Shut up, bitch. I'm handling business.
Don't you even raise your voice at me,
Nah,
asshole.
shut up, bitch. You funky ass.
What a dick.
Hey, Jizzy, I need to holler at you.
Well, talk then, friend. I mean, that's all we ever do. Kind word here, wise saying there. Shit, I'm a walking book of proverbs.
No, you fucked up.
Come on, man. Hey, I get it wrong, you know? I'm imperfect, you know, like, hey, not a kind man, not a wise man, you know, not a smart man, but dear Lord, I tried.
No, you fucked up when you trusted me, player.
Come on, baby.
Ass selling, yay pushing, piece of shit trash.
Oh, Lord. What y'all waiting on, huh? Somebody cap this nigga, man.
CJ chases him down and puts him down for good. Then he grabs his phone and calls Cesar once he finds out the location. CJ meets with Cesar across from the meeting location on a rooftop. Woozy's boys make their way over and CJ takes care of the security on the rooftop so the triads can proceed inside. T-Bone rocks up with his boys and so does Ryder with the Ballers. Torino is nowhere to be seen until a helicopter comes in the picture before it takes off and smoke grenades are thrown down. CJ fights through the enemies and gets the T-Bone before he takes him down. Ryder gets spotted and makes the run for it with CJ following behind. It becomes a boat chase with Ryder's boat getting blown up. There's still one more member to go before the Loco Syndicate is taken down. Mike Torino. CJ receives a call from Woozy telling him his boys found the van he was looking for by a helipad downtown and Torino's there, taking some shipment for himself and leaving by helicopter. CJ makes his way to the helipad and fights his way there until the helicopter takes off and it ends up turning into a chase so intense you'd think you're in a movie. With the helicopter destroyed, there's no confirmation Mike's dead, but we just assume from how bad the crash site is. CJ visits Woozy and he's introduced to another character by the name of Shuk Fu Ranfali. He's the leader of the Red Gecko Tong, which is the boss of all triads. Very powerful Chinese-American major organized crime syndicate. Ran Fa Li needs a package retrieved from the airport, but a Vietnamese crime family, the Da Nang boys, are preparing to move to the US and may prove trouble to moving the package. So CJ accepts and goes to retrieve it, and you won't believe who's ambushing the pickup. CJ skirts out of there until the drop-off point. Arriving back at Woozy's, he talks to Ran Fa Li about drawing the Da Nang boys out to take them out. but they're watching the apartment so they can't do anything without an assassination attempt happening. So CJ offers to be a decoy to lure the Da Nang boys away from the apartment so Ran Fali can safely leave without an issue. Ran Fali was down for it, so of course they fell for the bait and found out the hard way. Woozie wants CJ to head out to the docks and swim to a boat owned by a Vietnamese rival gang and plans a bug on it. Stealthily. Running into Woozie as he's leaving, he talks about the big one that's going to get him inside the red gecko tong, but he's got other things to take care of first, and he also gets word from an associate, Little Lion, that the Da Nang boys are arriving on a container ship, so Woozie tells him to go check it out and CJ tags along for the ride. An aerial assault gets attempted on the ship until the helicopter gets destroyed. Little Lion unfortunately doesn't survive, but CJ does. He makes his way to the ship and puts down several Da Nang boys before getting the container where they have the refugees locked up for trafficking. CJ frees them and tells him where the head of the Da Nang boys, the snakehead, is. So CJ heads to the driver's side of the ship and takes him out in a very long and intense battle. CJ meets up with the refugees and they thank him before setting off in the dinghies. C.R.A.S.H walks into the room, CJ's in, and tells him how much of a hero he is back home. But CJ doesn't feel like he is one with how all his friends betrayed him or he's put them down. Woozie walks in and tells him his former friends own a crack factory nearby, and if he destroys it then they'll be out of business for good. A mechanic who works for Woozie calls CJ and tells him he's rigging a car with explosive to use for the crack factory, so CJ heads to the mechanic and picks it up, then makes his way to the factory and blows it up. When CJ arrives back at his garage, he receives a call from an unknown caller saying he has information on his brother and to come see him that is nearby. CJ isn't buying it, but the unknown caller basically threatens his brother if he doesn't go to him. CJ heads to the unknown caller's location and he's greeted by a truck with giant wheels. The unknown caller says he wants to see what CJ is made of and basically has to drive the truck through the area and back in time. Once he gets back from his trek, the unknown caller says he'll explain everything. You won't believe he was behind those calls.
Hey, what the fuck, man? Hey, Torino, I told you my bad, man. What the hell can I say? I screwed you over.
Calm down, kid.
Just go ahead and kill me then.
Calm down.
Man, you ain't nothing but a fucking yayo dealer anyway, Torino.
Shut up and sit down. What, you think I'm a drug dealer? And you think you're a crusader for good? Do you have any idea what's going on? Any idea whatsoever? Do you? Do you?
Nah, I pay as little attention to things as possible.
Do not be a fucking smartass with me. I work for a government agency. It is not important which one. I will try not to confuse you. Yes, when we last met, I was involved in battling threats in Latin America by any means necessary. That does not make me a drug dealer. Now, the money that we raised, the friends that we won over, have helped us immeasurably in our overseas interests.
Government agency?
Kids like you expect heroes. We're fighting a war out there. I'll be a hero and I'll lose. And what do we have? Communism in Ohio. People sharing. Nobody buying stuff. That kind of bullshit. So relax and listen.
All right. I'm listening.
I know what kind of guy you are. I need a guy like you to do things I can't get caught doing.
Like what?
I need you to commandeer a truck. A rival agency with a confused social agenda. They got things that we need. Now, this is a two-man job. You'll need a friend. Use your sister's boyfriend, but don't tell him a thing. Remember, I'll be watching you.
CJ drives towards the truck that's to be hijacked and C.R.A.S.H takes out the driver so it can be easily commandeered. CJ hops in and drives the truck back to the garage. Mike calls CJ and demands him back at the ranch. Mike tries to get CJ to do a favor for him, but CJ says, nah, I want to know about my brother first. CJ heads to the desert in the buggy but has a pit stop on the way to pick up an RPG. While the helicopter containing the contraband CJ needed to collect was about to land, rival agency helicopters intercepted the chopper and give the pilot trouble. So CJ defends the chopper by shooting down the choppers intercepting. After the chopper successfully makes it to the airstrip and drops the package, CJ makes his way there. Not before he's chased by cops though. He collects the contraband and heads to the drop-off point. CJ heads back to Mike's ranch and he wants him to buy a piece of property for him, an airstrip. Then Mike tells CJ that he's to learn to fly. CJ initially refuses, but after saying that if he wants to earn his brother's freedom, he needs to do it, he accepts. After CJ completes flight school, he receives a call from Woozy telling him he has a new business venture in a casino in Las Venturas and has a business proposition for CJ and to come see him. Mike has some agents that are in trouble and need some help and need some equipment dropped off. So he gets CJ to fly the plane and head to the agents and drop off the equipment in a package from above. C.R.A.S.H has a business venture to do with boosting cars, and Zero, who works for CJ, designed a tracking device that tracks phone signals made by the driver. That helps them boost their first car. C.R.A.S.H meets CJ in the garage and tells him he found 2 cars that someone has requested, so they take a trip to a showroom nearby, steal the cars and take them for a test drive. C.R.A.S.H got word from someone that someone he knows who handles freight containers at the docks saw a container loading up cars that matches a car on the customer's wish list. The container's been marked to easily identify it, but C.R.A.S.H's concern is too late, but CJ says let's go check it out and see what happens. When they get there, CJ hops on the crane and identifies 3 containers on the ship. It's a guessing game. CJ drops the first container, not the one. He drops the second one, not the one. He drops the last one, it's the one. Go figure. But once the right one is retrieved, the drop gets ambushed by enemies, so CJ helps out by using the crane to wipe them out. Once they're all taken out, CJ drives the car back to the garage. C.R.A.S.H arrives in the garage and angrily stomps towards CJ and starts crashing out about his failure to steal a car on someone's wish list that the driver is no match for him. But CJ comes up with an idea. A spicy one. Stingers. Once CJ gets the owner of the car to finally get out, C.R.A.S.H calls CJ to check in on the situation and CJ tells him it's sorted, just has to fix the tires and it's all good. Then CJ delivers the car to the garage. Now we enter a stage in the game where CJ heads to a new city called Las Venturas, where he meets Woozy at his new casino that he now owns. Woozy tells CJ that he's having trouble keeping his business afloat with the mafia causing him trouble. So Woozy offers CJ a share of his company in exchange for his help to keep his casino business afloat. One of Woozy's men comes rushing in the room telling him they caught someone trying to destroy their deliveries. Woozy says to get rid of him, but CJ has other ideas.
Hey, you think you're smart, but you're not. Hey, come on, I don't want to die. You think that's funny? Oh, slow down, for God's sake. Oh man, this is too fast! The family will pay for this!
Which family?
The Santos family, you idiots!
That's all I wanted to hear.
What? Oh shit!
Woozy reaffirms CJ who was behind the attempts to sabotage his casino, and Woozy questions why it's only them and not others, and CJ says there probably are others, but of course they're not going to say anything. CJ suggests a heist on the casino to assert dominance, but Woozy says heists are a different ballgame to what CJ does, and he agrees. That it's going to take time and planning, but he's on board for it. CJ mentions they'll need some explosives. Woozy knows of a mine nearby and says they must have explosives, so CJ goes and checks it out. He steals the dynamite with a big truck and brings it to Woozy's associate. CJ and Woozy play cards before their session is interrupted by his associate showing concern with different casino chips. Woozy says one's a fake without being able to see, and CJ inspects them and confirms Woozy's suspicions. Woozy says the Sandako family own a plastics factory in the city, and CJ goes to check it out to take care of it explosively. CJ receives a call from the Truth saying he went on a peyote safari with the band and something happened where they end up getting separated. Truth gives CJ the location of where they last were and goes to check it out. CJ takes Maka and Kent Paul to a snake farm as that's where they think their other bandmates are. But when they pull up, it's a not so friendly greeting. So CJ takes them to Caligula's casino where Paul's friend Rosie works there. When they pull up, the snake farmers show up for a final showdown. CJ takes care of them and is introduced to Rosie. He has now found his way into the casino to scope it out without raising suspicion. CJ and Woozy meet in a room to start the planning for the heist, but before they can go further, they need a blueprint of the casino, and for that, they need a camera to snap a picture of it. So CJ heads to an area where photographers are and beats one of them up to obtain said camera, and then heads to an office building towards the blueprint to snap a pic of it. CJ heads back to Woozy to go through the blueprint and figure out a strategy until Woozy's associate walks in with the package for CJ, and CJ freaks out about him seeing the plans when Woozy suggests he could be part of the team since he's seen the plans. So with an additional member to the heist crew, CJ's package was a security card reader from Zero, and in order to use it, they need a keycard. CJ heads to Caligula's and tails a croupier as they have a keycard on them. So CJ tails her to an X-rated shop where she seems to be dressed for certain activities, which leads CJ into being dressed interestingly. Then he tails her to her house and waits for her X-rated friend to show up before taking him out and entering her house posing as the friend. Now she becomes CJ's girlfriend and he has to take her on dates before she gives him the keycard. The heist crew meet in the room with additional members standing in the background observing until CJ tells them to get lost. The janitor also arrives, but he lives in the room. The next stage to the heist is the power, so they're able to cut it during the heist. So CJ heads to the city dam where the generators are by plane and parachuting, then planting bombs on each generator before getting out and escaping the authorities. Meeting back in the heist prep room, CJ mentions the last 2 steps of the plan: stealing an armored truck that's hauling the stolen cash and stealing police bikes that are helping escort the armored truck with the stolen cash. But first, the police bikes. There's 4 to steal. Once all 4 are on the truck, it was time to steal the armored truck. Woozy suggests they steal one while it's doing its rounds so they make some extra money too. But CJ doesn't want it to get messy for the crew with street level jacking. So Zero suggests stealing a helicopter with a magnet under it and then attaching the truck to the magnet and taking it to the airstrip. A cargo plane arrives at the airstrip with a bunch of government agents around. Torino tells CJ those are rival government agents trying to cause problems in other countries, so he tells CJ he has clearance to eliminate the agents by any means possible and destroy the plane. So CJ drives into the plane and takes out the agents inside the plane before planting an explosive and getting out of there before exploding the plane. CJ meets with the Truth at the airstrip and he questions CJ on his government affiliations. Then he tells him about a powerful military base that's working on a top secret project and he wants CJ to steal it. It's a jetpack. With the casino heist, the last thing needed was the keycard. To get that, CJ had to take Millie out and get her trust up enough to give it to him. Eventually she does. With everything heist related all prepared and ready to go, all that was left to do was wait on Woozy to give the go ahead for the heist. It was time to start the Mafia storyline while we wait. CJ meets Ken Rosenberg inside Caligula's and he ends up telling us his life story and why he's so stressed. He kinda rambles on a bit, so let me break it down for you, bear with me. Basically, Rosenberg was on top at once upon a time, had money, power, ladies, but fell weak to the drugs. So he got himself some help and went to rehab. And once he came out, he represented one of the mob families from Liberty City, and that's how he ended up at the casino. The 2 crime families couldn't trust each other to run the casino, so he was made a neutral party and now he lives his life in fear. One of the families is gonna kill him and blame the other family for it. Remember the guy on the car when CJ met Woozy at his new casino? Yeah, that was Johnny Sandarko, member of the Sandarko crime family. After that mission, Johnny got put into a shock-induced coma and sent to the hospital. Now, the Forellis caught wind of this and see an opportunity to take him out, and if the hit succeeds on Rosenberg's turf, he gets killed for it. So CJ comes up with an idea to move Johnny so the Forellis can't take him out and save Rosenberg. But when CJ gets to the hospital and asks where he is, it turns out he's already been picked up. The Forellis don't fuck around, that's for sure. However, finding the ambulance that Johnny is in wasn't easy as there were multiple ambulances around the area. Once the right one was found and smashing it up a bit to show we ain't playing around, CJ takes control of the ambulance and drops it off at the Sandarko's meat factory. CJ meets Rosenberg at the casino and it seems like he's back to his old ways. While moving Johnny from the hospital didn't exactly help Rosenberg greatly, he's still in distress and stressed in general. So CJ convinces Rosenberg to man up and take control. So they head to the Sandarko's abattoir to talk to Johnny. I think I'll let this cutscene speak for itself for what happens next.
Hey boys, tell your boss that Ken Rosenberg is here to see him?
Ken who?
Ken Rosenberg. Ken Rosenberg, the guy that runs this town. So, how's Johnny?
He's doing much better. Huh. Yeah. He ate something this morning.
Oh.
Hey, Ken. Oh, Christ, this fucking thing. Ken, como esta? How you doing?
Pretty good. And you?
I still got a little bit of the night terrors, touch of diarrhea, but I'll get through it.
Huh, diarrhea. Cool.
And who's this?
How you doing, Johnny?
It's fucking him. It's him. Oh my head. Oh God, it's him. Oh, my heart. My heart.
Damn, that nigga fucked up.
So yeah, the Sandarkos basically put 2 and 2 together and now CJ's fighting his way out of the meat factory. CJ meets Woozy at his casino along with Brian Farley and they both sign paperwork to make them both co-owners of the Four Dragons Casino. CJ receives a call from Rosenberg saying that the Leones have made their move and Salvatore is in town at Caligula's. It's a war for control. CJ heads to Caligula's to meet Salvatore and it seems Salvatore has already familiarized himself with Maria. who ends up becoming his wife later on. While CJ introduces himself, he tells him before he started doing business with Rosenberg, he was involved in business with the Don's son, Joey, back in Liberty City, which Salvatore seems to approve of. CJ asks him if there's anything he can do, and Salvatore mentions that Forelli's are sending people over to hit him. He was going to send people to go take care of it, but says CJ can do it instead. So CJ heads to the airport, hops in a plane, and heads towards the flight incoming to Las Venturas, and gets enough distance from behind it where he can hijack the plane and get inside it, eliminating all the men inside, including the pilot, and landing the plane at Las Venturas airport himself. CJ meets with the Truth at the old airstrip, and he seems to be unable to control the jetpack that he got CJ to steal, and tasks CJ with flying the jetpack, landing on the train and stealing whatever it is they got on there. Once CJ obtains the green stuff, he takes it to the Truth, and before CJ can ask what it is, he drives off. CJ visits C.R.A.S.H at a residential house in Prickle Pine and meets with officers Tenpenny and Pulaski. The officers seem to be on edge, and CJ notices and teases them when Tenpenny responds with this. Then he tells us there's a DEA agent meeting with an FBI agent with a dossier that contains info on C.R.A.S.H's corruption in a ruined rundown area and wants CJ to go take care of it. So CJ heads to the rundown area, takes out the target and steals the dossier. CJ then receives a call from Tenpenny, who tells him to meet someplace quiet to deliver the dossier. CJ heads to the agreed upon area and waits for the officers. Once they pull up, and CJ hands Pulaski the dossier and asks if he's done with them now before Tenpenny furiously hits Officer Jimmy Hernandez with a shovel in retaliation for selling them out. He then gets CJ to dig a grave for both himself and Hernandez while Pulaski keeps watch while Tenpenny goes and chills out. While CJ's digging the grave, he notices Hernandez behind Pulaski getting up from being knocked out, so he talks to Pulaski to distract him from looking behind him, but it wasn't enough, sadly. And now it's time to get rid of Pulaski once and for all. But before that, an interesting dialogue between the two.
Carl, you got it all wrong, pal. Tenpenny was the one saving your ass. Every time I wanted to get rid of you, he'd find some excuse to keep you alive. Well, now it's up to me, and I ain't such a fucking soft touch. So how's your sister? I always had a thing for her. Tenpenny and I got some great shots of her and her burial boyfriend going at it like a couple of horny chihuahuas. And she put out like a pro.
Screw you, Pulaski. I know what you're trying to do, and you ain't gonna crawl inside my head.
I ain't kidding. The best stakeout I ever done. Carl, you should have seen her mom before she was buried. She was a real mess. Most of her face was hanging off.
Don't fucking talk about my mom.
The boys, you know, they fooled around with her at the scene. You know, touching her, joking around and shit.
Fuck you, Pulaski. Fuck you.
And then he drove into the ocean, and that was the end of Officer Pulaski as we know it. He won't be missed. Now it's just a leader, Officer Frank Tenpenny. We'll come back to him later. For now, CJ finds out Mad Dog, a rapper whose rhyme book we stole from his mansion, is attempting suicide because of losing everything, from his rhyme book being stolen to his manager dying. CJ tries to talk him out of it and helps him by being his new manager, but Mad Dog wasn't having it and attempts to jump anyway. And then CJ drives him to the hospital while CJ has a chat with him.
I'm gonna take your sorry ass to rehab, you drunken idiot. Am I still the top rapper, Jew? Best there ever was. Second to nobody else, homeboy. And the name's Carl. Thanks, Carl.
CJ meets with Salvatore at Caligula's and gives him props for taking care of the Forellis on the plane, and offers him a hit on the Forellis in Liberty City at the St. Mark's Bistro. CJ accepts but requests backup and takes Kent, Paul and Macca before Rosenberg pipes up and basically begs to be a part of it, so he takes him too. But they're not going with him to Liberty City. He picked them so he could get them out of the city, so Rosenberg was out of trouble. CJ heads to the airport, gets in the plane and makes his way to Liberty City. Once he lands and enters the venue, he takes out the leader, Marco Forelli, marking the downfall of the Forelli crime family as we know it, giving more power to the Leone crime family. Once CJ returns to Las Venturas, he receives a call from his brother, Sweets.
I'm stuck in a cell between two lunatics, and people keep trying to jump me. This shit ain't cool, partner. You looking after Kendall?
Nah, she looking after me.
Right, that's cool.
I'ma get you out of there though, man.
No, you ain't, nigga. Who you think you are? I'm here for life. I guess I've grown used to it now.
No, you not, man. I'm working shit out. Whatever it take.
That's a negative. I'm through hoping. Have a nice life, brother.
Hold on, man. I'm getting shit worked out for you. Just hang in there. Sweet. Shit.
And then another call from Salvatore, basically praising him for the Liberty City job and for getting the 3 lads out of the city, and then says to lay low and keep a low profile and keep a distance from each other. From this point, the Caligula's heist is finally ready to go before CJ receives a call from Woozy. It's all systems go now for the heist. CJ heads to Caligula's and makes his way to the door that you need a keycard for. Once he's in, he makes his way to the backup generator room to throw a tear gas grenade down a ventilation shaft into the vault room. Zero hacked into the city's power and emergency lighting protocol and blew up the charges on the generator at the dam to black out the lights. With the lights out, this meant the big door was unlocked for the truck to come into, but also meant we had to lift the door manually since there's no power. So CJ grabs a forklift and lifts the gate up to allow the truck in, and this is where the real heist begins. It's now time to head to the vault and steal the cash. But what's a heist without having some enemies to take care of? As they get to the vault, Zero tells us there's a bit of a problem, that someone on the other end is trying to bring the backup generators online, so to negate that, CJ goes to destroy them. The team finally get the vault open until Zero tells CJ he will need to defend the team as the Mafia are on their way, and finds out it's Berkeley behind this attack. With the Mafia wiped out and the team finally collecting most if not all the cash, it was time to finally leave. However, CJ is a decoy and going somewhere else to distract the authorities from the rest of the team. Zero's nemesis, Berkeley, brings the lights back on and it was time to fight more enemies while CJ makes his way to the rooftop. Once he gets to the rooftop, he takes down a chopper as well as some other backup before picking up a parachute and parachuting to a chopper on top of a building across from him. Then hops in and flies to the old airstrip, meeting the team there. Once he lands, he confronts Zero for telling Berkeley about the heist plans and swiftly knocks him out. Then once the heist is all said and done, CJ receives a very colorful phone call from Salvatore.
Sup?
You two-bit backstabbing piece of eggplant shit.
Salvatore, nice to hear from you too.
You're dead. Your friends are dead. Your family's dead. I'm gonna fuck you up and your children and your grandchildren.
Well, it's been nice talking to you, but I got some money that needs spending on some expensive trash, so if you excuse me.
You're dead. Dead.
CJ, Woozy, and Kendall seem to be doing auditions for something and dealing with a frustrated contestant who isn't pleased with receiving a note on his audition until Mad Dog walks in and tells CJ he's clean now and that he wants to go home to his mansion in the hills. But there's one tiny problem. His mansion has been seized by a drug dealer. CJ starts crashing out and ends up going to take the mansion back for him. He hops in a plane with the Triads while Mad Dog, Woozy, and Kendall drive towards the city. CJ parachutes in towards the mansion along with the Triads and helps take out the Vargos that have seized the house while the rest of the Triads come in. Then they run through the house, taking out anyone in their way until they get to the main guy who ends up running off and turns into a high-speed car chase. Until CJ blows it up. And now the mansion is the new base of operations and appoints Rosenberg to be the accountant and Kent Paul to be the sound engineer. Now with the last Venturas storyline done and CJ being back in the city, it's time for the last part of the game. And of course CJ is now a kingpin basically. He has everything. However, Torino has one last job for CJ and he has an interesting way of announcing his presence.
Hey, what the sound's that?
I don't know, bruv. It all just went.
You fucking shite, you RP.
I can't be held responsible for dodgy gear, all right?
Come on, keep it together, man. You can't fuck with us, Flo.
Finally, I thought I'd never get through to you.
What the Torino, is that you?
He wants CJ to steal a military Hydra from an aircraft carrier and use it to destroy some spy ships while also fighting off enemy jets. Torino interrupts CJ in the studio and says he has one more job for him, but CJ gets fed up and threatens him until he says to relax and answer the phone as it rings. It's sweet. He's been released from prison and CJ says he's going to pick him up. CJ asks Torino what the job was and it turns out there was a job, to go pick up his brother from prison. But once CJ picks up Sweet and tells him all about his business ventures, Sweet doesn't seem too happy about all that and responds with this.
What you mean, man? What's mine is yours and you know that.
You never did get it, did you, Carl? I need to go check on things in the hood. Man, that's the problem. You always a perpetrator, running from what's real.
Hey, man, shit's fucked up there. You don't want to be in the hood.
No, that's exactly where I want to be. What you done for our hood?
Man, what the hood done for me? Always dragging me down. Ever since I got out the hood, shit been cracking. That's everybody's dream to get out the hood.
Man, you sound just like Smoke right now.
So CJ takes Sweet back home and they get their first glimpse of what the hood turned into with this. It was now time to take back Grove Street and take care of any ballers, drug dealers around. Sweet almost gives in to smoking crack from one of beat-up's crack women when CJ walks in and stops him. He berates Sweet and then the woman says they'll have to deal with beat-up. So they head to his place but he's not there. and find out where he is of someone outside his house. After learning his new location, CJ and Sweet take over the area to make it theirs before going to confront him. When they confront him, he says he had no choice and that orders came from the boss, likely referring to Big Smoke. When they ask about Big Smoke's location, he hesitates on saying anything but claims he doesn't know and only the higher ups do. Then Sweet pushes him to the ground and he calls out Big Bear, who he's made his personal slave, to back him up and kill CJ and Sweet. But instead, Big Bear got tired of being his slave and fought back and left with CJ and Sweet. It's unclear what happened with Beat Up after, as he's never seen again or mentioned after that encounter, but Big Bear is taken to rehab by Sweet. CJ finds Mad Dog in the studio and sees OG Loke on the TV filming his new music video, and discovers that his rhymes were stolen but doesn't know that CJ originally stole it for OG Loke. So CJ takes Mad Dog to the location of the video shoot to confront OG Loke, but when they pull up, OG Loke runs off and it turns into a chase that involves boats and go-karts until they get to the studio and the real confrontation begins.
You phony! Man, you can't prove nothing! Hey, Jeffrey, you a buster, straight bitch. You stabbed me and my brother in the back. Man, I'm an artist. We all make mistakes. Ain't that right, Alki?
You ain't no artist. You's a buster. You's a fake.
Man, I was gonna give you credit on the next album. Man, royalties? Take that. I got more
bitch,
too.
I should smack dog shit out your ass.
Just don't
Break
hit
your
me.
face
Yeah,
right here,
you
motherfucker.
phony! Mr. Dog, Jimmy Silverman, blasting Fools Records.
Hold up, I'm the manager. You wanna talk? Talk to me.
Oh, okay. Pleasure, gentlemen. Let's talk,
I'll
all right?
bust your ass.
I need hits. I mean hits. Now what about this guy? This, phony? I've got a good mind to sue his ass into next year.
Man, get off me, you drunk. Hey, Lo, go get us some lunch. You get lunch.
Excuse me, gangster. I don't think so.
Man, get out of here. Don't be pushing me. Don't be pushing me.
CJ visits Sweet to find Grove Street back together and praises it. Sweet says he wants to take the Grove back, but CJ hesitates and says to wait as he's got other commitments before doing that. Sweet doesn't take kindly to CJ's response and says this.
If you don't get this shit together, what you think this place is gonna look like? You always did real good leaving jobs half finished.
That's cold, Sweet.
Man, we can't take care of this from no bitch-ass rapper's mansion.
Look, the world's bigger than this hood.
This is where our lives begin and where it's probably gonna end. And don't forget where you came from, Mr. Uppity-ass nigga.
Now that ain't fair.
Oh. Somebody just crossed out all the writing on the wall, disrespected your hood, and you act like you don't give a fuck. That ain't fair.
Okay. Have it your way. Come on.
They then head to an area close to home called Idlewood and take 2 areas of that to slowly take Grove Street back. CJ and co sit around at the TV in the mansion to watch the case unfold with the officers involved in C.R.A.S.H. Pulaski and Tenpenny were charged with multiple things, one of them being corruption. However, Pulaski is dead, so it's just Tenpenny. But due to lack of evidence, because Tenpenny made CJ take care of them all, it was a quick court session as Tenpenny's charges were dropped due to insufficient evidence. The city didn't take too kindly to this and started rioting. CJ takes Sweet to his home in Grove Street and witnessed the rioting on the way there. CJ visits Sweet and they get into another heated exchange because they think differently. Until Cesar rocks up and asks CJ for help taking his hood back from the Vargos. He initially says no with family stuff going on, but Sweet convinces him to help, seeing as CJ wants to repay his debt and this is one way to do that. CJ receives a call from Sweet saying he found our Big Smoke's location, so CJ heads to Sweet and picks him up. They make their way to his location, but the entrance is basically locked down due to riots, so the only way in is by a heavy vehicle like a police SWAT van. Once CJ steals the SWAT van, he drives into the entrance, breaking the wall and getting into the entrance. After clearing 3 levels of enemies before making it to Big Smoke's suite, this is what happens before and after his death.
How'd you know it was me?
Knew it was my old dog, CJ. Knew you was coming and I don't give a shit.
I'm here to take care of your fat ass. Then I'm gonna take care of your friends in the police department. Where they at?
Man, fuck this shit. Man, that's some good shit.
Man, you and Tenpenny.
Man, fuck Tenpenny, and fuck his Polish lapdog, and fuck the police, man. Oh, that's old shit. Look at you, you got the whole world. I ain't got no regrets, man.
Smoke, you had.
I made it, CJ. I'm a success. I can't be touched. I don't give a fuck. Fuck the whole world.
What happened to you, man?
Man, what the fuck do you care? I guess we better do this shit then.
Oh, what made you flip out like that, man? Was it the drugs or what?
I got caught up in the money, the power. I don't give a shit. Oh, fuck, man.
Why you just didn't quit, man? We was like family, homie.
I had no choice. I had to do it. I just see the opportunity. Oh, when I'm gone, everyone gonna remember my name. Big Smoke. Oh.
But it's not over yet when Tenpenny shows up to collect his cut of the drug money. Once CJ loads the bag, Tenpenny attempts to kill CJ but ends up setting the place on fire, making CJ exit the building quickly. Once Tenpenny hops in the fire truck, Sweet comes from behind and jumps on the ladder on the fire truck, and it becomes a car chase with making sure Sweet is safe and not losing sight of Tenpenny. It gets to the point a C.R.A.S.H rookie made their way out of the fire truck onto the ladder and trying to get Sweet off by stomping on his feet until he drops onto CJ's vehicle, and CJ takes out the other C.R.A.S.H rookies and rival gang members while Sweet takes over driving. They get to the bridge above Grove Street when Tenpenny loses control of the truck and drives off the bridge and crashes the truck, leaving himself wounded and eventually dying. CJ delivers a cold final line to Tenpenny.
See you around, officer.
With the main story over, it's time to get into everything involved in the story and theorize why the story played out the way it did. Well, throughout the story, there's actually quite a few clues to Big Smoke turning evil. The first one is actually right in front of you in the beginning. When CJ returns home from Liberty City to attend his mum's funeral, while Big Smoke is supposed to be at the funeral too, he ends up being inside the Johnson house giving CJ a scare. But why is he there? Why isn't he at the funeral with the rest of the family? Seems like he was trying to kill Sweet, and once he saw it was CJ, he had to play it cool to not seem sus. But in the same scene, he throws a baseball bat onto the table, hitting the glass of the picture frame with CJ's mum in it. This could just be bad throwing coordination, but this is also a hidden sign of disrespect. Towards the end of the mission, the funeral is then ambushed by a drive-by from the Ballers, and the gang take the BMXs and escape back to Grove Street. But during the ride back, some strange happenings occur. The Ballers didn't shoot a Big Smoke or Ryder and only seemed to focus on CJ. It's unclear if Ryder was involved with Big Smoke's sneaky moves at the time, but it makes sense that they didn't shoot a Big Smoke as they see him as valuable to them. Another interesting clue is at the beginning of the mission drive-thru, where Big Smoke's famous order is said. At the beginning, he almost implies that he doesn't respect Sweet, but backtracks and says he's hungry instead. In the same mission, when CJ asks about his mum, Big Smoke has some interesting responses.
Our moms get killed. We gotta talk about it.
We all gotta talk about it. They was going for Sweet.
How you supposed to know that? You know what people are like. Say they have love for you, but won't say a word. Too damn scared.
Some people say they saw a green Saber doing the work, then speeding away.
Then when the Ballers pull up for another drive-by while they're eating food, but first, how did they know that was it? More fishy stuff. Anyway, while trying to take out the drive-by car, Sweet and Ryder are shooting at the car and not Big Smoke. So if Ryder is involved with Big Smoke's antics, it's strange he's shooting at them too, unless he's trying to hide his affiliation. But the main thing here is that Big Smoke doesn't shoot back at the Ballers at all, which is very strange and odd behavior for someone who claims to be affiliated with Grove Street. Later on in the mission, towards the end, Sweet asks the gang if they want to come inside and Big Smoke declines. Odd behavior considering you've been out with your friends and nearly died from a drive-by attempt, but you're too worried about your crew. And on top of that, when CJ drives Big Smoke to his crib is outside Grove Street territory and inside Ballers territory. When asked where he got the money, he claims it was from a family member. The big clue that tells us everything we need to know is in the mission, the Green Saber. When C.R.A.S.H shows CJ, Big Smoke and Ryder hanging out with C.R.A.S.H officers Frank Tenpenny and Eddie Pulaski, which leads us into the next question. C.R.A.S.H stands for Community Resources Against Street Hoodlums. It takes inspiration from the real-life C.R.A.S.H unit of the LA Police Department, which eventually got disbanded from the notorious Rampart scandal. The unit was founded by officers Frank Tenpenny and Eddie Pulaski, and their goal was to clean up the city from crime. But what really happened is the unit became extremely corrupt and went against what the unit was about, and did business with street gangs such as the Ballers instead. In 1992, C.R.A.S.H came into contact with two high-ranking members of Grove Street families, Big Smoke and Ryder, and managed to have them join his cause and organize the death of the leader of Grove Street, Sweet, in a drive-by shooting from the Ballers. However, during the drive-by, they instead shot and killed their mother, Beverly Johnson, which led to CJ returning to the Los Santos. During the beginning cutscene when C.R.A.S.H arrests him, soon after he lands, they attempt to pin a murder of an officer they just murdered for threatening to testify against C.R.A.S.H on CJ, and that was just the start of them being involved in CJ's life, tormenting him for their own pleasure. They managed to coerce CJ into working for them, and many of the required tasks as CJ murdered all the key witnesses to C.R.A.S.H's corruption allegations, and then they decided CJ was no longer useful to them, so Tenpenny planned to cut ties until they learn about Jimmy Hernandez's connection with internal affairs, and Pulaski gets rid of Hernandez before CJ murders him. Tenpenny's fall from grace was him being charged with racketeering, corruption, drugs, and SA. However, with all key witnesses being murdered by CJ and no evidence to back up those charges, he was acquitted of all charges. And then the city ended up rioting in response, which spooked him and led him to showing up after CJ kills Smoke and taking all his drug money before setting the building on fire, and escaping in a fire truck, and then eventually losing control of it on the bridge above Grove Street and driving off the bridge and eventually dying, which leads to the disbandment of the C.R.A.S.H unit. So throughout the game, there were certain parts of the story involving Ryder that didn't make sense. The general question people have is, was Ryder meant to betray CJ and the gang, or was he meant to be good but they had a last minute change to the story? And I guess the answer is, the story did get changed but not necessarily last minute. Let me explain. At the start of the game, Ryder's missions all involved things to do with Grove Street and help the gang and had a purpose behind each mission, and he also helped when it came to rival gang attacks. But the first indirect clue to Ryder's betrayal is in one of his missions, robbing Uncle Sam. He says this when he asks CJ why he didn't finish school.
Yeah, CJ. Hey, CJ, tell me why I didn't finish high school.
Because you've been dealing drugs, man, since the age of 10.
No, that ain't it.
Because you had put hands on that teacher for wearing baller colors.
No, that ain't it either. It's cause I'm too intelligent for this shit, man. I am the real deal, fool. Oh shit. A genius.
Another weird one is when Smoke shuts Ryder down when Ryder says too much about the drive-by that led to the killing of Sweet and CJ's mother Beverly.
Our moms get killed. We gotta talk about it.
We all gotta talk about it. They was going for Sweet.
How you supposed to know that? You know what people are like. Say they have love for you, but won't say a word. Too damn scared.
Some people say they saw a green Saber doing the work, then speeding away.
But our first look at Ryder's betrayal is a mission before leaving the city where C.R.A.S.H shows CJ Big Smoke working with the police, and Ryder's there too, but he only mentions Big Smoke when reacting to what he's seeing and what he's telling Sweet and Tenpenny.
Smoke, you get deep with Tenpenny in the car. It's all us out.
Fucking Smoke. Oh, Sweet.
However, in a mission with C.R.A.S.H called Photo Opportunity, CJ and C.R.A.S.H get to a spot where there's a meeting with a crime syndicate, and Ryder is one of the members meeting. This is CJ's first time discovering Ryder turning his back, but also, the voice line has been altered from the beta version of the game to the full game.
My trabajo pays mi poquito.
What? You shermhead?
This business is bigger than any gang, is it?
Ryder, little bitch.
Shit, Ryder. Damn shermhead, fool. Oh, man, it's true. Ballers rule the families.
This business is bigger than any gang, is it?
Ryder, little bitch.
So going back to the Green Saber mission, it confirms that Ryder wasn't meant to be there originally, and Rockstar just kinda copy-pasted his character model into the cutscene at the last minute change to the plot. With the voice lines being altered from the beta version of the game to the full game, this doesn't mean Ryder was never originally meant to betray CJ and the Grove Street gang. In the mission Pier 69 in the full game, CJ fights through a wave of enemies before getting to T-Bone Mendez and killing him, but his death sequence felt weird. Like he was trying to say something but nothing came out. And then we see Ryder running to the edge of the pier, but his voice lines haven't changed from the beta version and I just reused assets instead. And in the beta version of the game from the same mission, instead of killing T-Bone Mendez, you killed Ryder yourself. And the voice line that plays for his death makes the most sense for it, especially with him screaming in pain after being shot. And then instead of Ryder running to the edge of the pier, it's T-Bone Mendez.
Hey, Ryder, shermhead asshole, where you think you going?
Can't stop me.
What do you want to do with him, Holmes?
You sold us out, Ryder. You fucked us all.
I'm a motherfucking genius. Ah!
Mendez, I see you, Rifa, motherfucker.
Yeah, I'll be back for you, Johnson.
He's in it for those boats.
Don't worry about it, I got this.
I should have killed you when I had the chance.
Should've got the fuck out of here.
Mendez, I see you, Rifa motherfucker. Hey, Ryder, sherm-head asshole. Where you think you going?
Can't stop me.
He's headed for those boats. Don't worry about it, I got this. It's all us out,
Now, there was some speculation that the voice actor for Ryder, MC8, quit during production and Rockstar had to kill Ryder off to make up for it. However, MC8 said Rockstar did all the voice lines that he was told to do, which silences the speculation and confirms Ryder was meant to betray CJ and the gang anyway. And we know for sure that this was meant to happen from the introduction video. The introduction video shows Ryder talking about betraying Grove Street. Things would change to the story late into development from when the introduction video dropped, so it might be why it's confusing.
I need to be in charge of my destiny, homie.
This way you will be, homie. This is all about destiny. You know I got your back, right, homie?
Cool. How my shit look, fool?
Yeah, it's cool. Now, the way I see it is that we don't have a choice. Ain't nothing to feel bad about. You put a gun to a brother's head, brother's gonna do what he's told, no matter if he's a fool or a wise man. You don't want a bullet in the brain, but if you can make it work and make some Benjamins while you at it, then that's cool.
It's gonna take more than a bullet in the head to stop me.
I don't doubt that, homie.
And that is that for everything law related to Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I hope this video explained things for you and makes you less confused. If you have any of your own theories, feel free to leave it in the comments. And if you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new for more content like this. But that's it from me. I won't take any more of your time. Peace.